What a roller coaster this last week has been. Winning against Ottawa, losing against Ottawa, losing to the worst team in the league, the Chicago Blackhawks, having the entire news circuit around the Rangers being that Gerard Gallant is on the hot seat and he's going to get fired if they lose another game in a crazy fashion. That's the guy who took you to the Eastern Conference Finals, who everyone was saying his job was one of the most secure in the NHL. And now he's on the hot seat. I don't blame people for saying that, because what else are you going to do? You have all of your top guys on the Rangers totally locked up in no movement clauses, and then your bottom guys are young potential breakout stars who are cost controlled. So there's nothing else you can change except the coach, or continue to cycle the lines up and finally get through to Gallant that the kids need to play. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. I don't want to talk about the Chicago game because I value my mental sanity. That game sucked. I do want to talk about the St. Louis Blues game, where the first two periods looked like Gerard Gallant was going to get fired. Blues are also struggling, but the Rangers were just doing the classic 22-23 Rangers thing, losing after being up by more than a goal. And then something special happens. Gallant listens to the fans, the media, to literally everyone, and puts Kakko and Lafreniere on the top line with Mika Zibanejad. Your number 1 and number 2 overall picks with your best center in between, and Lafreniere scores, and the team looks totally revitalized. They end up coming back and getting the win, getting a comeback win in the third. Kakko is looking so good. He is making so many moves. That guy is so bitten, he cannot get a goal at this point. Chris Kreider even said after the game that his money is on Kakko to score the next goal because he's been working so hard and he deserves it. And what do you know it? Gerard Gallant keeps the kids on the top line. And who scores the first goal? A tip from the slot, Kaapo Kakko. That Vegas game, while it was a little hairy there when it was tied 1-1, obviously we eventually blew up in a good way in the third period. But that was the first game that the kid line all scored, and they're not even together anymore. But Kakko, Lafreniere, and Hedl all scored in the same game. That's got to feel good if you're the Rangers. Hedl has been playing very well. The fact that he's now on the second line with Panarin is the right move. And I think to get to these lines, what we had to do was move Kreider down to the third line. And since Hedl has been playing so well and been driving play, he's up to the second line. So you have a third line that consists of, like, the foundation is Kreider and Trocheck. I'm totally fine with that. That is deep. Trocheck as your third guy with Kreider, who was a one-time 52-goal scorer. And, you know, they're still going to get power play 1 minute, so it doesn't matter. I really like that. And the fact that it's bringing energy to the team is totally working. What I don't like, and this has been a problem for the last few years, is our right wing depth now, because Gallant is a stubborn motherfucker, is sitting Kravtsov. He's scratching him for Barclay Goodrow in his place. Yeah, Barclay Goodrow had a great little backhand sauce pass to Hedl, who scored in that Vegas game. And he's a very defensive player, so I understand. I just don't. Him as your second line guy, he kind of sucks offense out of lines. If you look at expected stats, every line that he's on in the top 9, just their offensive expected goals rates falls like exponentially. And then when he's on the fourth line, he brings that level up because that line is meant for more defense, more hitting, more blocking shots, and then he can feed it to the guys who just have the wheels, like Gauthier, like Brodzinski, like Blais. I really disagree with having Goodrow on the second line. Kravtsov needs to get in there. You even see videos of Kravtsov and Panarin practicing together, and Kravtsov apparently leans on Panarin to keep positive when he keeps getting scratched. The thing is, Kravtsov has been playing better. When he came back from injury, he has been noticeably better, and he scored a goal, and I think you need to try that Hedl, Kravtsov, and Panarin line. That is a really young top 6, and I can sympathize with why Gallant maybe doesn't want 4 of his top 6 under the age of 23, but that's why you have them. And if they're the best guys for the job, and depth-wise, the best right winger in your lineup is Kakko, and then skill-wise, at least breakout-wise, Kravtsov, you got to do that. It seems like they put Trouba and Miller back together, and Trouba and Miller were getting most of the ice time with Zibanejad, Kakko, and Lafreniere. I don't know if that's like a defensive thing, like Gallant wants a more defensive pair out there with the young kids on the top line, because for a while Trouba and Miller were split up because they were playing so bad. I think that had more to do with Trouba being injured, and maybe it seems like he's kind of back to his old form of just a good shutdown guy, making big hits. I guess I will go back to the Chicago game. Do you see that hit on Athanasiou? Oh my God. What a sissy. What a total sissy. You see what he said after the game? He's like, oh, that's an $8 million player. He has to do something. He has 0 goals. He has to do something to get his boys going. It's like, dude, Athanasiou, okay, you're a $3 million player. Pretty sure you have like 6 points. Like, shut up. Sick, dude. And it was a clean hit. It's not even a dirty play. And people get so pissed off about that. It's like, no. Like, I was listening to 32 Thoughts with Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman. They were saying that's just hockey. Like, people aren't used to that because there's not those types of hits as much nowadays. But especially back in the day, that's just a clean hit. And by the rules that, the collective bargaining agreement that the players sign off on, that is like totally fair. And it was clean, and it hit him right in the chest, and it knocked him on his ass. I think everything else with the Rangers is pretty consistent. Igor has been good. He's like middle of the pack, maybe like better than NHL average right now. Like he was never the problem. So I have no problem with him having Libor Hayek in the top 6, allegedly beating out Zach Jones for that 6th spot. I don't really agree with that. It really sucks to see because Jones has a higher ceiling. But for now, I think they think Hayek is a safer person to put there. And maybe he has a higher floor at this point just because he has more NHL games under his belt. For now, that's okay. The Rangers did place Carpenter on waivers. As of this point, I'm filming at 10 a.m., so waivers comes out at noon. I don't expect anyone to pick him up. I did see that Kevin Rooney was also on the waiver wire, but I think his cap hit of like 1.3 over the next 2 years is too much for the Rangers, especially since they just cleared out cap space by putting Carpenter down and by trading Ryan Reeves. I liked Kevin Rooney a lot, but I don't think the Rangers should make a move for him, and I hope they don't. Something I did see was a guy from a right winger actually from Colorado, Martin Kaut, I think his name was. He is still on his rookie deal. He's making $800K, and he was a former 16th overall first-round pick. That could be an interesting move for them. We know we need right winger depth. The problem is then it's like, okay, you're just proving you have no faith in Kravtsov, who is a guy on an entry-level contract and who you drafted close to that pick mark. But I'm all for getting and holding assets, so if they think they can scoop him up and it doesn't completely ruin the Kravtsov relationship, which I think it's got to be getting tough for him, and maybe they end up trading him, but they haven't given him a fair shot. It's tough to see. Another thing that I think Steve Valiquette actually brought up in the post-game for the MSG broadcast, the Rangers are generating a lot of goals now off of shots from the point or outside the circle. You could see it in Kakko's goal. They tipped it in. I think Lafreniere had a tip in the Blues game. They're shooting that shot and taking shots through traffic way more effectively and more frequently. And that is totally translating to way better 5-on-5 scoring for them. So they need to keep doing that to get on a little bit of a run here. And, it's a tough little schedule coming up, which I'll talk about later, but that is one of the keys to success for this team. With that, let's get into the superlatives of last week. Let's go. Okay, man of the match, Kaapo Kakko. Playing great, especially over the last 2 games when he actually gets a chance to on the top line. Does everything but score in the Blues game. Gets a nice tip from the hash marks in the Vegas game. And he's just so strong on the puck. We're still waiting for him to pop out and to break out. But it's definitely coming. And if he keeps getting these minutes, and if he ever eventually gets power play minutes, I think you will really see what he, and honestly what Lafreniere can do. Man of the match, Kaapo Kakko. Dope of the day, Gerard Gallant. He's been the dope of like the last couple weeks here. To go from getting your team in the Eastern Conference Final to being a Jack Adams finalist to 20 games into the season being in rumors of you're going to get fired if you don't get your team to win. That's crazy dope behavior. And some of his lineup decisions are really, really, really stupid. But he finally listens. It's almost like he's doing it out of spite. He's putting the kids on the top line to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, oh, he's right, great. But it's working. He's a dope. Just keep him there. It's clearly working. Just don't touch it, please. You're a huge dope right now. And the fact that you just make these coaches' decisions about, like, Goodrow needing to be on the second line, all right, that's the dopiest dope. Gerard Gallant, dope of the day. Unsung hero. Oh, captain, my captain. Some of you might hate me for this, but Jacob Trouba, since that helmet toss, like saying, wake up, and like screaming and leaving the ice. Since that, after that game, they're 2-0. It got the boys going. It changed something around there. He seems to have had a little bit of a return to form moment where he's progressed to where he used to be. I think maybe he might have gotten a little bit healthier. We knew he had an injury, and it seems like he's got a better handle on it right now. His big hits, his energy, and his fights that are getting the boys going, that's exactly what we need, or what we needed. And look, he's not the best captain in the world. He does not have a goal, and he's a little bit overpaid, but that guy cares, and that guy is a leader in the locker room and on the ice with these tone-setting fights and hits that he does. Unsung hero, Jacob Trouba. And finally, fire into the sun. I talked a little bit about this, but scratching Kravtsov, you're just killing this kid's confidence. You're killing this kid's development. What more is there to say? He's a top pick that you disgruntled by telling him to go to the AHL last year, and now, yeah, he's on the team, but you're not playing it. And he's played well. And Gallant has even said, no, there's nothing against the kid. Like, we just like how the lineup looks right now. It's a coach's decision to have Goodrow on the second line. Just like, dude, you're never going to know what this kid can do if you don't play him. And no one is going to trade for him if they don't have a good amount of video on this kid. It just seems like a mismanagement of assets, which the Rangers have been stupidly good at recently. So fire into the sun a little bit, Gallant's decisions, but mostly just get Kravtsov into the game. Fire into the sun, Kravtsov being scratched. Okay, just to wrap up, we have a couple tough games on the schedule. We're away tonight in Colorado. I think we then play the Leafs. We play the Devils. I'm not sure which order. Those are all top teams in the league. The Avs are a little bit hurt. McKinnon and Landeskog, a lot hurt actually, are out. Their lineup looks kind of decimated. So that's a game we should win. They're a tough team, reigning Stanley Cup champions, but we can beat them. We keep the lines and keep the energy that we've been bringing these last game and a period. We can definitely beat them. The biggest game for me is going to be the Devils, like the top of the Metro Devils. We need to show them that we're not going to be pushed around and we're not going to be beaten so easily. And that'll be a message to the league. You know, league rankings came out of who's going to make the playoffs, who are the top 15 teams in the league, and the Rangers were like on the cusp and even below the cusp. They're out of a playoff spot now. The other teams have a few games in hand. That doesn't bode well for us, but it's early in the season. I really just am looking for them to go on a little bit of a run here. I want Kakko to get on a goal streak. I want Lafreniere to get on a goal streak. And we just need to keep playing the kids. Need to see what they can do. It was almost time to panic. Chicago game, it was really the finger was on the button. And the Blues game was going to be panic mode. Like Gallant fired the next day, like, you know, trades happening if they didn't turn around, and they did. So we're on the up, we're picking it up. Let's go on a run here and do what we know the Rangers can do and be what we know the Rangers can be. That's all for me. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let's go Rangers.